Hi again. I'm glad to see you. I've got a story for you. I know some of you guys have been planting the bean seeds that were in your go home bags. This is a story about planting seeds and what happens after you plant the seeds. I got to see Charlie's seed this morning. His is starting to sprout already. He showed it to me. Pickin' peas. Pickin' Peas, retold by Margaret MacDonald, and the pictures are by Pat Cummings. And the dedication here is for all the kids and rabbits of Jennings County, Indiana. Little girl planted a garden of peas. Come July, those peas were getting ripe and ready to eat. Little girl went out to the garden and started going down the row, picking peas and singing, "Pickin' peas, put 'em in my pail, pickin' peas, put 'em in my pail." Picking off just the big ones, left the little bitty ones to grow some more. A pesky rabbit lived down in the holler, and he jumped in the row behind her, started hopping along, eating her peas, singing, "Pickin' peas, land on my knees, pickin' peas, land on my knees." Every time he'd sing, he'd give a jump, and he'd land on his knees every time. He came down that row, eating up all the little bitty peas she left behind. Mr. Rabbit was moving along just one row behind Little Girl. When she'd turn the corner at the east end of the garden and head up a row, he'd turn the corner at the west end of the garden and head down a row. "Pickin' peas, put 'em in my pail. Pickin' peas, land on my knees." After a little while, Little Girl got to feeling like someone was following her. She said to herself, "I think I'll cut my song off right short and see what I hear. Pickin' peas, put 'em in my pail." Stopped, listened, heard. "Pickin' peas, land on my knees." Little Girl said, "Aha, I do believe that pesky rabbit is in my garden, and I do believe he's following me, and I do believe he's eating my peas." She thought a minute. "I do believe if I turn back around at the end of this row, I can catch him." Little Girl started tiptoeing back up the row she'd already picked. There was Mr. Rabbit hopping along down at the end of the row. "Pickin' peas, land on my knees." She crept up behind him real quiet. "Pickin' peas, land on my knees." She reached out. "Pickin' peas, land on my..." Whoop! She caught him. Said Mr. Rabbit, "What's that you were singing just now?" Mr. Rabbit scrunched up. "Oh," he said, I was singing, digging up roots, land on my foots." "That is not what you were singing," she said, and she squeezed him a little harder. "What were you singing?" "Oh," he said in a little squinchy voice. Okay, I was singing, picking peas, I land on my knees." "That's what I thought you were saying," said Little Girl. "You were eating up my peas, weren't you?"
Well, maybe."
"Well, you won't pick my peas anymore. I'm going to take you home, put you in a box, and I'm going to keep you there till pea picking season is over." She took that rabbit home, put him in a box, shut the lid down real tight, cooked herself up a mess of peas, and ate them all up. Well, That was good. Then Little Girl heard Mr. Rabbit hopping around inside of that box, and he was singing, "Pickin' peas, land on my knees." "Hey, Mr. Rabbit, what's that you're singing in there?" "I'm trying to dance, but it's too crowded in here. Take me out and put me up on the top of that box, and I'll dance and entertain you." Do you think she should do that? Do you think that's a good idea? I don't know. I wonder what she's going to do. Let me see that. She took him out and she put him up on top of the box, and he began to dance and sing. "Pickin' peas, land on my knees. I heard my mama calling me right over there." And every time he'd say right over there, he'd give a little jump to the right. "That's good dancing," said Little Girl. "Put me up on that big chest by the windowsill and I could dance even better," said Mr. Rabbit. You think she should do this? Think she should put him on the chest? Little Girl put him up on a big chest by the window, and Mr. Rabbit started really cutting up. "Pickin' peas, land on my knees. I heard my mama calling me right over there." Little Girl was clapping and laughing. "I love your dancing, Mr. Rabbit." "Well, put me up on that windowsill and I could really dance," said the rabbit. So Little Girl picked him up and set him down on the broad windowsill by the open window. I'm thinking this is not a good idea. Mr. Rabbit was jumping up and down, kicking up his heels. "Pickin' peas, land on my knees." When he got to the end, he gave one tremendous leap. "I heard my mama calling me right over there." And out the window he jumped. I thought so. Mr. Rabbit ran off through the garden calling, "I picked your peas and it landed on my knees. I'm going to eat all I want 'cause you can't catch me." Well, I'd like to say that that's the last Little Girl saw of that rabbit, but I'm afraid he was right back there the next morning, picking her peas and landing on his knees. And this right over here, that's the notes of the music to the song that the rabbit and the little girl were singing. Picking peas. So when you plant your bean seed outside, make sure the pesky rabbits can't get to them. Don't want them to be picking your peas, landing on their knees. No siree, Bob. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. It's one of my favorites. I miss you guys so much, and I can hardly wait to see you again. Love you. Bye.